Hello?
Hello, is this a lawyer?
Yes, this is she. How may I help you?
Oh, alright. I would like to know how can I buy a house in Mexico?
Of course, I can guide you through the process.
Okay, thank you.
The first step is to find a piece of undeveloped property such as a home or a condo which you would like to purchase and verbally agree on a price with the seller.
Alright.
After that has been done, upon receipt of the buy-sell agreement, otherwise known as the Convenio de Compra-Venta, which is typically composed by the seller's real estate agent, your attorney must review the detailed costs, inclusions and exclusions, as well as pertinent timelines set within.
Alright.
Once this has been approved by your attorney, now you can give to the seller 10% of the deposit, and you should also establish the amount of the cancellation fees or penalties that are going to be given in case of a breach of contract.
Alright, and how much is a cancellation penalty normally worth?
The cancellation penalty is normally worth about 10%, just like the deposit, but again, this can be negotiated by a real estate attorney in Mexico.
Alright.
Next, if the property is located within the restricted zone, you need to establish a trust with a local bank. This restricted zone, as you may know, encompasses all beachfront property in Mexico, which includes anything from the 20-meter federal zone boundary inland to 50 kilometers,
Alright.
which is restricted, and it also covers 100 kilometers approximately from an international border. In case a foreign person is buying a property in Mexico, there are recent changes in the law that have been created so that they can buy a property here in Mexico.
Alright, what kind of changes will this affect me somehow?
The recent changes in the law have stipulated that they can buy a house through a fideicomiso or bank trust, because through a fideicomiso, foreigners who have property in the restricted zone have the power and right to rent, lease, or subdivide it, as well as perform other actions upon it.
Oh, okay.
Then, after this has been stated, you will need to request permission to purchase property from the Foreign Secretary's office, where you will be required to sign the Calvo Clause, in which you agree not to seek assistance from your government in the case of any conflict pertaining to the property under consideration.
Alright.
Is everything clear up until now?
Yeah, so far so good.
Perfect. So the next step is that your attorney will investigate as to whether the seller is in a good legal standing and is legally permitted to sell. In case that you have a real estate agent, your attorney must also ensure that they are properly registered and all of their permits are current and in good standing. And once you have received copies of the property deeds from the seller, your attorney will verify with the public notary that they are accurate and that there are no existing liens on the property.
Alright.
And before a buyer can actually acquire real estate, he or she must go before a notary.
Alright.
The difference is, as you may know, between a notary here and in the United States or in the UK, is that a notary here is a qualified attorney. And for this reason, it's important for the public notary to give public faith of the buying of the property.
Alright.
The next step you should follow is that your lawyer must verify that your land is not included in an ejido land claim.
Alright.
Do you know what an ejido land claim is?
I wanted to ask you because I don't quite understand it.
It means that they are communal lands, but that in 1991, President Salinas changed the laws concerning ejidos. And ejidos, they are now possible to be changed to private property, which can become subject to sale.
Alright.
And then the next step is that your attorney has to review any official land appraisals, and then he or she must verify your legal status in Mexico by presenting your passport, birth certificate, etc. And then it must require that the seller provides up-to-date original versions of the original property deed, current tax receipts, etc. And they must be shown to be paid in full to assure that you're not left responsible for any unpaid debts.
Alright.
And unless otherwise stated in the purchasing agreement, the seller will pay the capital gains tax, the price of which will be determined by the public notary. Finally, the last step for you to have your house is that the full payment is made at the time the deed is signed to you, which shall take place in the public notary's office, because as I mentioned before, he or she should give public faith of the buying of the house.
All right, thank you very much. I will talk to you later.
Perfect, thank you, bye. ¿Crees que se agüite?
No, todavía no.